This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10. Coverage you can count on.
Right now, Floridians are starting to feel the effects of Hurricane Idalia. The storm is expected to strengthen as it barrels toward the Big Bend of our state's Gulf Coast.
It is going to be a significant impact.
Tonight, we're taking you county by county with a live look at conditions in your neighborhood.
It is all eyes on Hurricane Idalia tonight as the storm's outer bands bring tropical storm force winds and heavy rain to parts of Florida. Good evening, I'm Martha Sigalski.
And I'm Darlene Jones. The Category 2 hurricane is now just hours away from making landfall along Florida's Big Bend. Here's a look. Some people have been asked to evacuate in the area because of the storm surge that is expected. Here is a live look right now at Steinhatchee tonight. The town is located west of Gainesville near Deadman Bay. Right now, the water seems relatively calm in the area, but as you can see, conditions are starting to deteriorate along the state's west coast. The wind and waves are starting to pick up there in places like St. Petersburg and Key West.
We do have live team coverage for you tonight, bringing you real-time updates on local conditions. Our crews are spread out across Marion, Sumter, and Lake counties. We'll be checking in with our crew in just a bit, but first, we want to get the very latest right now from Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry, who is live in the Weather Center 9 with more.
That's right. Yeah, the storm has strengthened. They did a special update at 10 p.m., bringing the strength up to 110 miles an hour. So on the verge of being a major hurricane. We expect it'll keep growing overnight tonight and all the way through landfall. Tornado watch has been issued for areas mainly west of I-4. Weather will continue to worsen after 2 a.m. all the way through daybreak, and we'll have about a 9 a.m. landfall, give or take, up in the Big Bend area. So winds 110, pressure keeps dropping. There's that tornado watch for all of the west coast. And as we zoom in a little closer, you can see some of these outer rain bands coming on shore, Sarasota, Tampa. They are more prone to spin. That's why that tornado watch is out. And gradually this will keep moving farther north, and we'll have a higher risk closer to our coverage area. But the radar out of Tampa, great shot here. Winds rushing away at nearly 90 miles an hour and booking it toward the coast at over 102. So that is a sign of a much stronger hurricane, and we're going to be able to watch it with all these great Doppler radars across the state. You can see the squalls coming through Sarasota. There's no rain for us just yet. We've already had one batch that moved by, but that tornado watch in effect till 6 a.m. for Lake Marion, Sumter, and into Polk County. But all of the area we're going to keep an eye on. That watch only goes through 6. They may issue another watch after that. Right now, we're pretty much rain-free. The track will be updated here in about an hour. I think it's going to remain right up here in the Big Bend as a Cat 3, possibly a Cat 4. It's got about another just under 11 hours to strengthen. It could easily become a Category 4 just before landfall. Right in this area, a huge record-breaking historic storm surge is expected up here, 10 to 15 feet. It's going to be a huge mess across the Big Bend. The timing of all this for Metro Orlando between 4 and 6 a.m. and a little bit after that here and throughout the day, really, along the East Coast. So let me show you. This is our future track, 1245. Scattered downpours coming into the west where you see the red's going to be the stronger winds and also the squally weather. That is 3:15, and by 6 a.m. still very heavy weather to the west and closing in on Metro Orlando after the sun rises. So we're going to take you county by county with all these impacts and take you throughout the day. It's a growing storm. Martha?
All right, thanks so much, Tom. Now to our other county-by-county information. We begin tonight in Marion County.
Yeah, the city of Dunellen is one of the closest places in our viewing area to the storm's path. Channel 9's Jeff Deal is live there for us tonight. And Jeff, what are you seeing right now?
Darlene, still very calm out here, just a really slight breeze. It's kind of cool outside, and we always talk about the calm before the storm. It becomes somewhat of a cliche right before one of these big storms come through, but that's really the way it is. But it's not stopping people from taking this seriously. You can see businesses here are boarding up. They're boarding up the windows and doors. We also spoke to homeowners who are also prepping for this storm. When a hurricane is coming, one small thing can make all the difference. And for Frank LaCicero,
I'm a handyman, you know, I do everything A to Z.
The prep for Hurricane Idalia is serious business.
So I was securing some customers' furniture lawn furniture up in Ocala. Stopped and got some sandbags. Customer was out of town, wanted to make sure his house didn't flood.
We ran into Frank and others in Dunellen, western Marion County, filling sandbags in preparation for the storm. Just down the road, local businesses were getting ready too. Dunellen Jewelry and Pawn is taking no chances. The owner removed their sign in fear of high winds. Windows and doors here are also boarded up.
Well, we're just getting prepped. I mean, you can never be too careful with the storm coming in, so we're just, taking some precautions, boarding up the windows. On the interior of the building, we're, getting everything up the floor.
They've experienced flooding before, and folks here know with Dunellen not far from the coast and near the main path of Hurricane Idalia, they need to be ready for whatever the storm brings.
Bought the sandbags here. Go ahead and finish securing my property and kind of hunker down for a day or two and see what this thing does.
And right now, the biggest concern does seem to be for the high winds that could be coming. That's why the owner here removed that sign from out in front of the business. We did speak with a police officer a little bit earlier in the evening. He said they rarely ever see flooding around here. He said usually if they do, it's one of the low spots around the river where they get just a small isolated area or a place where the property doesn't really drain that well. Reporting live in Marion County, Jeff Deal, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Dozens of families are finding refuge from Hurricane Idalia in nearby shelters like at the Sumter County Fairgrounds. Many told us it's better to be safe than sorry. Channel 9's Daryl Matthews is live outside the fairgrounds area. And Daryl, how's it been there? There are some people?
Yeah, Martha, it's been pretty steady so far. Throughout the night, we've seen transit buses dropping people off. Within the last few minutes, I've seen people come inside to find a place to stay. Now, here there's about 40 to 50 people inside right now, but I'm told once it reaches that 80% mark, the sheriffs will open South Sumter High. Now, 75 beds have been placed in a large common room for families to spend however many days and nights are needed to wait out Hurricane Idalia. Throughout the day, we've seen people registering their families and carrying food and other items inside. This pet-friendly shelter is offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner for everyone. Last year, the shelter laid out 140 cots for people. This year, they're not expecting that many people, but they have them on standby. Meanwhile, faculty members with the University of Florida are volunteering to make sure everyone in the county has what they need to get through the storm.
It's tremendous. Our citizens come together. Jim Davis is managing this team down here in Webster for us. We have a special needs shelter up in Wildwood, and see the community come together and to serve those that are in need is fantastic.
Now, the commissioner has in his house a lot of non-perishable items as needed, and he's telling everyone to stay indoors. Coming up in just a few minutes, hear from a man who's dealt with a major hurricane 18 years ago and lost everything, and his message as to why these shelters are so important. We're live in Bushnell. Daryl Matthews, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Despite an evacuation order and warnings of potentially deadly flooding conditions, some residents on Cedar Key plan to ride out the storm. City leaders estimate 100 of the island's 800 residents decided to stay put.
And right now, the main concern in Cedar Key centers around the small bridges that help connect the island to the mainland. Leaders are concerned they may not be able to withstand storm surge caused by Idalia, which could be between 10 and 15 feet. Channel 9 reporter Shannon Butler is monitoring conditions there tonight.
At Fishbones on 3rd here in Cedar Key, they are boarding up. These guys finished just before those mandatory evacuations were in place. Officials are worried about the damage to the bridges and the roads that lead to this part of the Gulf Coast, and they're asking people to get out before it's too late. But some won't.
You guys staying or going?
We're staying.
You staying?
I'm staying.
Officials in Citrus County told residents today that they will suffer catastrophic damage as Hurricane Idalia makes landfall in the Big Bend. They could see 9 to 12 feet storm surge right here.
We're here to beg our citizens to heed this warning. This storm is worse than we've ever seen. My family has been here for many generations. We haven't seen a storm this bad ever.
Michael Pageant has rode out 4 storms here already. He'll do a 5th time tonight.
Have you been flooded?
One time, got flooded. There's like 4 foot of water in my house.
But this is bigger, supposedly.
I guess.
That's what they said about the last one.
Shannon Butler, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Our Hurricane Idalia team coverage is just getting started. Coming up, we're taking you to other parts of the state of Florida, bracing for strong winds and storm surge in northern Florida tonight. Tom?
Yeah, we're still watching the latest. We'll have the new track coming up here in just a few. Again, the storm is already up to 110 miles an hour. This could be a Cat 4 at landfall, and we're going to start feeling the impacts here after around 3 to 4 a.m. That's coming up.